William Shakespeare was the top comedy writer of his day and could pour out the pages without limit. By the time he had to write yet another silly comedy for his producer, he entitled it As You Like It, a reference to the happy world these happy people inhabit and how the audiences like their plays. In this play, Rosalind, the tall one, has a mad crush on young Orlando. She and her cousin Celia have gone to the woods on a picnic, and Rosalind, to her delight, has found poems nailed to the trees that are all about her. She has no idea where they came from, but Celia knows. Please enjoy our festival rendering of one of the comedies from the middle of Shakespeare's career, just before they made their move to the Globe Theatre. As You Like It. Two young cousins, Rosalind and Celia, played by Norma Westwood and Scotty Scott, as they go for a picnic in the woods.
Rosalind? 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 Rosalind.
I found them on a tree.
Truly, cuz the tree yields bad fruit.
Ow! From the east to western Indy, no jewel is like Rosalindy. Her worth being mounted on the wind, through all the world there's Rosalind. All the pictures fairest lined are but black to Rosalind. Let no face be kept in mind but the fair of Rosalind.
I will rhyme you, so 8 years together, dinners and suppers and sleeping hours accepted. For a taste? If the heart do lack a hind, let him seek out
Rosalind!
If the cat will after kind, so be sure will
Rosalind!
Winter garments must be lined, and so must slender.
Rosalind!
They that reap and sheaf and bind, then to cart with. Sweetest nut has sourest rhyme, and such a nut is. He the sweetest rose will find, must find love's prick, and. This is a very false gallop of verses. Why do you infect yourself with them? Rosalind. Did you not hear these verses?
Oh yes, I heard them all and more too, for some of them had in them more feet than the verses would bear.
Well, 'tis no matter, the feet might bear the verses.
Aye, but the feet were lame, and could not bear themselves without the verse, and therefore stood lamely in the verse.
Hear you without wondering how your name might be hanged and carved upon the trees?
Look here, what I found in a palm tree. I was never so berhymed.
Know you who hath done this?
Is it a man? I beg you, who?
Oh, Lord, Lord, it is a hard matter for friends to meet. Yet mountains may be removed with earthquakes, and so encounter.
Nay, but who is it?
How is it possible?
Nay, I beg of you now with most petitionary vehemence, tell me who it is.
Wonderful. Most wonderful, wonderful. And after that, more wonderful. And after that, yet again, after all, hooping.
I prithee, tell me who it is quickly and speak apace. I would you could stammer that you might pour this concealed man out of your mouth as wine comes out of a narrow-mouthed bottle, either too much at once or none at all. I prithee, take the cork out of thy mouth that I may drink thy tidings.
So you may put a man in your belly?
Is he of God's making? What manner of man? Is his head worth a hat or his chin worth a beard?
Nay, he has but a very little beard.
Why, God will send more if the man will be thankful. Let me stay the growth of his beard if you delay me not the knowledge of his chin.
It is young Orlando.
Nay, but the devil take mocking. Speak sad brow and true, maid.
In faith, 'cause 'tis he,
Orlando! Alas the day. What did he when you saw him? What said he? How looked he? Wherein went he? What makes he here? Did he ask for me? Where remains he? How parted he with you? And when will you see him again? Answer me in one word.
He was...
Does he know that I'm in this forest? Looks he as freshly as he did the day I met him?
It is as easy to count atoms as it is to resolve the propositions of a lover. But take a taste of my finding him and relish it with good observance. I found him under a tree. There he was, like a dropped acorn. There lay he, like a wounded knight.
Though it be pity to see such a sight, well becomes the ground.
He was furnished like a hunter.
He comes to kill my heart.
Oh, cry hold to thy tongue, I prithee.
Do you not know I am a woman? When I think, I must speak. 'Cause what think you of falling in love?
Rosalind, love no man in good earnest, nor no further in sport neither than by honor of a pure blush you may in safety come away from.
Oh, how full of friars is this working day world.
They are but burrs, cousin, thrown upon you in holiday foolery. If we walk not in their trodden paths, our very petticoats would catch them.
I could shake them off my coat. These burrs are in my heart.
Hem them away.
I would try, if I could cry him and have him.
Come, wrestle with thy affections.
Oh, they take the part of a better wrestler than myself.
Is it possible, on such a sudden, that you should fall so strong a liking with Orlando?
My father loved his father dearly.
Does it therefore ensue that you should love his son dearly? By that kind of chase I should hate him, for my father hated his father dearly, yet I hate not Orlando.
An old religious uncle of mine, one that knew courtship too well, for he fell in love, read many lectures against it, and women, touched with so many giddy offenses as he has generally taxed their whole sex with.
Can you remember any of the principal evils he laid to the charge of women?
There were none principal. They were all like one another as pennies are, every one fault seeming monstrous, till his fellow fault came to match it.
Well, I prithee recount some of them.
A lean cheek, a blue eye and sunken, an unquestionable spirit, hose ungartered, bonnet unbandaged, sleeve unbuttoned, shoe untied, and everything demonstrating a careless desolation.
Rosalind, love is merely a madness, and I tell you deserves as well a dark house and a whip, as madmen do. And the reason why they are not so punished and cured is that the lunacy is so ordinary, the whippers are in love too.
I pray you, what is the o'clock?
You should ask me the time of day. There is no clock in the forest.
Then there is no true lover in the forest, else sighing every minute and groaning every hour would detect the lazy foot of time as well as the clock. Time travels in diverse paces with diverse persons. I'll tell you who time ambles with, who time trots with, who time gallops with, and who he stands still with. Oh,
I prithee, whom does time trot with?
Mary. He trots hard with a young maid between the contract of her marriage and the day it is solemnized. If the interim be but 7 nights, time's pace is so hard, it seems the length of 7 years.
Whom does time amble with?
With a priest that lacks Latin and a rich man that has not the gout. For the one sleeps easily because he cannot study, the other lives merrily because he feels no pain. These time ambles with.
Whom does time gallop with?
With a thief to the gallows. For though he go as softly as a foot can fall, he thinks himself too soon there.
Whom does time stay still with?
With lawyers in the vacation, for they sleep between trial and trial, and then they perceive not how time moves. You see, we are not all alone unhappy. This wide and universal theater presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play in.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women are merely players. They have their exits and their entrances. One man in his time plays many parts, his acts being of 7 ages. First the infant, mewing and puking in nurse's arms. Then the whiny schoolboy with satchel and shining morning face, creeping like a snail unwillingly to school. And then the lover, sighing like a furnace a woeful ballads to his mistress's eyebrows. And then the soldier, full of strange oaths, bearded like the leopard, sudden in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, in fair round belly, good capon lined, with eyes severe and beard in formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances. And so he plays his part. 6 age shifts to the lean and slippered pantaloon with spectacles on nose and pouch on side. His youthful hose well saved a world too wide for his shrunk shake, and his big manly voice turned once again to childish treble and pipes and whistles and sound. Last scene of all, that ends this strange, eventful history, the second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
In faith, Orlando's hair is of good color.
I think Orlando is not a pickpocket nor a horse thief, but for his verity in love, I find him as concave as a covered goblet or a worm-eaten nut.
Not true in love?
Yes, when he is in, but he's not in.
You have heard him swear downright he was.
Was is not the same as is. Besides, the oath of a lover is no stronger than the word of a jester. They are both the confirmers of false reckonings, yet he said he died for your love. Rosalind, the poor world is nearly 6,000 years old, and in all that time, no man has ever died in love cause. Troilus had his brains dashed in with a Grecian club. Oh, yet he did what he could to die before. Leander, ha! Would have lived many a fair year had Hero not turned to none, if it had not been for a hot midsummer's night, when he went forthwith to wash himself, having taken with a cramp, was drowned. Men have died from time to time, and worms have eaten them, but not for love. Oh, he is a brave man who writes brave verses and speaks brave words and swears on brave oaths and breaks them bravely upon the heart of his lover. He is a puny tilter who spurs his horse but on one side, and all's brave when youth mounts and when folly guides.
I will be more jealous of him than a Barbary cock pigeon over his hen, more clamorous than a parrot against rain, more newfangled than an ape, more giddy in my desires than a monkey. I will weep for nothing, and I will do that when he is disposed to be merry. I will laugh like a hyena, and that when he is inclined to sleep.
And what wit could wit have to excuse that?
Make the doors upon a woman's wit, and it will come out at the casement. Shut that, and 'twill out at the keyhole. Stop that, 'twill fly with the smoke out of the chimney. Oh, cuz, my pretty little cuz, mwah, that you knew how many fathoms deep I am in love. But it cannot be sounded. My affection has an unknown bottom, like the Bay of Portugal.
Or rather bottomless. For as more as you pour affection in, the more it runneth out.
No, Cupid, that same wicked bastard of Venus that was begot of thought, conceived of spleen, and born of madness, that blind, rascally boy that abuses everyone's eyes, let him be judge of how deep I am in love. Celia, I'll tell you, I cannot be out of the sight of Orlando. I'll go find his shadow and sigh till he come.
And I'll go to sleep.
What think you of falling in love? It is not the fashion to see the lady the epilogue, but it is no more unhandsome than to see the lord the prologue. If it be true that good wine needs no bush, 'tis true that a good play needs no epilogue. Yet to good wine they do use good bushes, and good plays prove the better by the help of good epilogues. What a case am I in, then, that am neither a good epilogue, nor can I insinuate with you in the behalf of a good play? I am not furnished like a beggar, therefore to beg will not become me. My way is to conjure you. I'll begin with the women. I charge you, O women, for the love you bear to men, to like as much of this play as please you. And I charge you, O men, for the love you bear to women. As I perceive by your simpering, none of you hates them, that between you and the women the play may please. If I were a woman, I'd kiss as many of you as had beards that pleased me, complexions that liked me, and breaths that I defied not. And I'm sure as many as have good beards or good faces or sweet breaths will for my kind offer, when I make curtsy, bid me farewell. Not yet. I said when I make curtsy.